Hey, how are you? Bad picture today, but the sound should be a little bit better than normal when I'm using this camera. So we should be happy in general. I'm not using the other camera because I'm not at home. I'm in Egypt, and so I should be drinking Sakara or Luxor. I think I would call it. They have it different, but terrible Heineken is everywhere, invaded everyone. I'm Dutch, so I can say it. I prefer Belgian beer. Good joke about that one, but we'll leave that one to another time because we have something more pressing to address. Well, not really pressing, but I'll stop rambling and start rambling. The universe from nothing. How many times have you heard that one before? And often proposed by theists. I don't mean you moderate Christian or nice from within Sufi Muslim, but I mean you crazy theist. So if you're watching Crazy Theist, pay attention. Um, Often we hear, well, the atheists, they believe that the universe came from nothing, and there's two things to that. Well, the first thing is we atheists don't believe anything with respect to where the universe came from. We just don't believe in a God. Okay? So, when we atheists want to know where the universe came from, in general, we will consult science. And the science I consulted was a book I read a couple of years ago by Simon Singh called Big Bang. That book takes you up all the way from a couple of centuries BC all the way to modern Big Bang cosmology. And that book has something to say about it. And not just that book, because obviously I checked other references as well, because I like to be correct when I say things, and otherwise I will just say I don't know. But in this case, I think I do know what science says, and science says that, well, we can see that the universe is expanding, like a tree is growing, and going back in time, we can follow it all the way back until it was a tiny, tiny dot, the singularity. You've heard about that. Well, when you hear singularity, you need to take into account that the calculations used to arrive at that point, they break down at a specified point, and that point is called one Planck time. And one Planck time is a really short period of time. I think it's 10 to the minus 43 seconds. So that's really, really short. But anyway, between 0 and 1 Planck time, there is this part where the science doesn't say anything about what was happening. It only starts to say something at this point, 1 Planck time, and then we go and expand. Don't explode, we expand. So science doesn't say the universe came from nothing, because scientists cannot look beyond 1 Planck time. We cannot look beneath. That point is made. So then we go and look at the argument those theists are actually making, and what happens? What do we hear? We hear, well, where do you think this universe came from? And then they will say, well, I have it right here in my book. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And then I will say, well, yeah, that's nice, but where did it come from? And then they will say, well, I don't know. So I will say, well, why do you then say that you know where the universe came from? And then they will say, well, it was a miracle. And then I will say, well, it may have been a miracle, but where did it come from? I didn't ask you what it was, I asked you where it came from. And then, because, well, in my book, if something poof into existence and there was nothing before, well, except a god or gods, or, well, that's a different discussion, Elohim or, but anyway, the next time that you theists, you crazy theists, are going to say, well, the atheists or science says that the universe came from nothing, think about that, because science doesn't say anything about where the universe came from. They just say, we don't know currently. Huh? It's easy. Well, what you don't know, what you don't know. I I would prefer it if you would say I don't know. You can say, well, it created heavens and the earth. Where it came from, I don't know. Well, good answer. I mean, at least your answer is correct. You don't know. Um, but there is another thing though, and that thing is called vacuum fluctuations, and that's really interesting because apparently what happens in a real vacuum is that sometimes matter and antimatter pop into existence spontaneously. A miracle. Well, I don't know about that, and I don't know if universes are created that way. I mean, if you ask me what I think, well, what I would think is that there is this phenomenon called it's just what I think. It's not scientific. It's just crazy me. So don't take my word for it. This is not how it works. But it's something I can envision would be the start of a universe. There are these things called black holes, and black holes are tiny tiny dots with a lot of matter inside them. And well, there's a giant black hole in the center of our galaxy, right? And there are multiple ones at other points. And well, there's a lot of other stuff out there, but I could imagine, for example, that if a supermassive black hole merges with another supermassive black hole, and that merges with another super, and that at some point all the black holes in the universe would merge, then you would have such a gravitational pull that, well, I don't know, they've calculated that it's not possible, I think, but there's a lot of things that we don't know yet, like the antimatter that is pushing things out. I mean, maybe something is happening. Oh, I'm rambling on, but I, let me just say I could see ways where in a naturalistic way things happen, but I've not yet seen a miracle, so I can't see miracles happening. I know that stuff can pop into existence and disappear quite quickly again. I don't know if that's one Planck time or less that it's existing. But anyway, I'm getting a bit. It's the fourth time I'm doing this video. At one point I said, never mind, I'm cutting this off. The point should be clear. You crazy theists, don't use that argument again, because in fact it is you who's saying that. Okay? I'm getting so tired of it. Bye.